Test, yep. Oh god. Alright, how we looking? Flags, love it. My little Mustang. Alright, cool. Test, yep. Alright, let's do it to it. Welcome, welcome. How y'all doing? Happy Friday. Gotta remember the layout for this thing. Too far? Huh. Maybe not. How's everybody doing on this Friday evening? FPS looks a lot better when we're not in a rain race. Plan to give this car a little bit of a whirl and then hop into the Porsche and see what that thing feels like. I know that car's so much better, so I figure I'll start with the Mercedes. I would assume the Mercedes is supposed to be faster, but I don't really know by how much. Or even if that's true, I guess. Man. Steering. So strong in this car.
No damage. Car looks clean.
Okay. Feels so much stronger than the Porsche. I need to go make some adjustments or something. This tire's pretty chilly too. Hope my chat's working. I haven't seen anything yet. Normally I wait until I do before I start. There we go. Thanks, fam. Man. Merc. Yep. I don't know if that's what I'm going to drive in the race. I'm just trying it out. I think I'm going to go between this and the Porsche. Keeping in mind the goal is safety rating, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but... Wow. He's trying to get away from me, though, I can tell you that much. I think I have the steering turned up in this car or something. Try that. The moose is loose in the boost. I think the play might be the Porsche, just from a comfort point of view, quite honestly. Jesus. This car feels like it's changed, man. I am about to lose it, like, constantly. No, the Mustang. I don't know. Ooh. Who's this thing set to? Oh, they changed the one thing. Really don't like how they changed the force feedback strength. It should be a little easier on the forearms. Let's try that. I am trying to VRS set up. I'm not sure what the wing is set to. I would imagine it would be pretty good around here, honestly. The real question is, can I drive this place again for a few hours without making any huge mistakes? I don't think I can. As of right now, I don't think I can. Probably gonna make a few. Yeah, I remember watching, that was the last NEC race, right? The, like, real one. Oh, come on, get off those curbs. It's been quite a minute since I've driven this track too. I feel like I'm just gonna wear the rears out like crazy. Can you imagine having like a normal shifter in this place? Forget it. Definitely one way to start your chat journey in my YouTube. I really prefer you not, but yeah. Oof. Good grief. Actually, cannot imagine trying to drive this racetrack without pedal shifters. Not in a car like this. Maybe in a really slow vehicle. Alright, let's see if we can get a lap in, see how it feels. Right now, I'm not feeling great about it. Last time I ran it, I remember it being significantly easier. I'll give it a shot. I'm going to do the same with the Porsche. See how we even out. Yeah. Man, I've had a great time driving that thing at Portimao this week for sure. I think I missed that one a little bit there. Leaving the vet for it. It's always nice to have a stable that you feel confident in, you know? And I mean, really, the vet and the Porsche are so different from one another that I feel like their strengths are on very different types of racetracks. It'd probably be pretty good for you to feel comfortable in both. Kind of have the ability to dabble if you feel the need.
Right side. Clear.
Alright, thanks Timothy. Appreciate you. Just your every GT through this one. Oh, nice. So you don't have the Porsche yet? You just drove it in demo, or? That's cool. Ooh, sprayed that wall just a touch. 52 degrees. Jeez. Oh, you have the Porsche already? Okay. Good grief. Yeah, I guess there's not a lot to learn from that. I mean, sometimes we see temperatures like that, but it would be at, like, say, a Sebring or something. Doesn't happen that often. Yeah. I can safely say similar for most of the cars that I own in this game. Definitely feels better the second lap. I gotta imagine Porsche's just gonna feel better for me. I think it's just so different to drive a front wheel vehicle in these games. Come on. This thing does sound pretty sweet. No, it's a mistake. Too deep. Oof. Oh, don't actually want to hit that curb, sir. One of these days I would like to learn the secrets, how to really be fast around here. I know how to get around it, but man, it's such a difference, right? Yeah, took me a long time. You always see those, you know, threads on like subreddit, and my answer, like, you know, how to learn it, or how did you learn it? I did it, I think, differently than pretty much everybody. Normally, people are like, oh, you watch this YouTube video, breaks it down into sectors, etc., etc. I did not do that, and so I think it took me a while, but I also just kind of took my time. I think I'm more likely to die tomorrow night reading chat than anything else. It's gonna be the hardest part. Staying disciplined to read it in safe spots. Yeah, that active reset thing is definitely useful. Yeah, I literally would, you know, say I'm just doing a normal race. What's up, Wade? Or should I call you Jake? You know, if I was doing like a normal race night or something, at the very end of the night, I would always carve out like 20 or 30 minutes and I would just jump in a test session for myself and just run a lap. And I would do that like every other night or every night until eventually I kind of had it. God, man, really tries to kill right there. Hell yeah, brother. You love it. Come on. Whew. Okay. Gotcha. Alright, I have no clue for what lap time this could be. I'm gonna guess 8 minutes. Well, the optimal says 8:01. I guess the lap times have changed with these new tires, huh? I remember lap times being, like for me at least, being like the 8:08 or 8:10 range, something like that. Looking at the laps up here, if I do that, I did a really, really poor job. So we'll see. Hope for the best. And we'll try the Porsche. Eight minutes flat.
0.733.
8 minutes flat. 8 minutes 0.7. Gotta remember that. Damn, somebody in the Mustang ran it. 747? What the fuck? What? Oh my god, man. In the Ford, no less. Wow. Alright, let's try the Porsche real quick. I'm literally just one lap, so I'm, you know, not expecting the world here. But, yeah. Alright. Northern crash at the flight ramp. Near the end of the GT. Wait, near the end? Oh, the flight ramp. Good grief. 4 barrel rolls, eh? Don't know what I'm hearing up there. Okay, so let's knock that one. I don't know which one I was just in. I'll try this. The Porsche. Register team. Cool. Hop in here, see how this one feels. Yeah, I wish I could describe accurately what that front engine Mercedes feels like to me, but it's like, it feels fine, and then it's pretty heavy, like the steering's pretty heavy, and then it just feels, it gets really light, really loose, like I guess the back end's just trying to come out. I don't know. I don't know if it's that simple. But yeah. Hold on a second. What the hell am I hearing? Gotta be the dryer. Too consistent of a noise to be anything else. Alright. Alright, so that was VRS race setup. Pretty sure. SR took a hit. 10x just from that. Not bad, dude. Did you see my last 2 race results? I lost 200 iRating in 2 races. Think about that. And I'll lose more after this race, I'm sure, because I don't... guess I wouldn't say I don't intend on finishing it, but the likelihood of me finishing it solo is very low. So, I guess I should have looked at track temp, but whatever. Alright, let's see if I can find it. Alright, that's the one. Apply and close. Mid-rear engines becoming the norm. The Mercedes looks like a 90s BAP. It really does, that long front end, man. Yes, 202 races. Yes. One was kind of bullshit because it was an MX-5 race. So, like, I knew I was going to lose that anyway. I finished dead last in an MX-5 race. Like, on pure pace alone, it was terrible. And then I did, an IMSA fixed where I T-boned the guy with the terrible rejoin. And that was, you know, I think that one was 98. I think the other one was like 102. So between the two races, it was 200. Oh, man. So now my steering feels super light. I hate how that can be different between the cars. Alright, that's what it has been. Alright, let's get it. This car, you really do need to change your feedback. The Mercedes is so damn heavy. You... Dude, to say that you missed a race is very egregious. There was no race. There was no race. I saw some cars. I was around them for a short period of time. And I got into it with like 2 of them. And then that was it. And then they were all pretty much gone. So, to say that you missed an actual race? Nah, don't worry about it. I was horrific. Absolutely horrific. Nothing was missed. I mean, I was doing like I guess it was a rookies MX-5 race. And so I'm in this race with guys that are like 5 and 6K that presumably just race MX-5s all day. I got destroyed. And it was Summit Point, but it was a configuration of Summit Point that I'd never seen before. So I literally joined a race that I didn't even know left or right. Had to figure that out real quick. Yeah, it was certainly a mistake, but whatever. Had a good time. People got to make fun a little bit. Just goes to show, man, like, it's really all about what you focus on. LT, what's up, brother? Porsche power, let's get it. See how this bad boy feels here. First lap will be a little sketch, but I just know this car's so much better than the Merc. Somebody had fun. I have so many questions. Whew. Tires still kind of cold. So we ran an 8-minute flat. I guess I might need to note 0.7. So that'll give me some frame of reference here. This week's 4 hours. They're all 4 hours except there's one that's a 6 hour. And that one happened, I think, somewhere in the middle of the summer. So yeah, there's this one, and then there's one in November, and then that's it for the rest of the, until April, basically. Unless they change the schedule, but they generally don't. It's always in April is the first race. So that's why I'm trying to take advantage. I mean, it is kind of cool that it's like a limited time series and that they don't do it over the winter. It sucks that they don't do it over the winter, so I have more time to race, you know what I mean? But yeah, it is what it is. God will help you, brother. Better hope. Crazy ass chilling. Uh-oh. I wonder if I just need to stay in 5th through there. Alright, keep pushing. How do you guys feel about the Apple TV Formula One thing? Oh, I hit the brakes too hard for that. I'd say this definitely feels easier to pilot than the Mustang, the Mercedes did. I mean, not super shocked by it. I've driven this car. I don't know how many hours. Maybe thousands. Certainly hundreds. Yeah, not happy with the thing. Dang it. Gotta stay in 4th there. Really glad I know to get rid of the cable. That works, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not super pleased about it. I mean, I'm not an Apple fan. I don't own anything Apple. My kids have iPhones, but I'm an Android person. I have a NVIDIA Shield, you know, I use PCs, even for laptops. So I don't use Apple stuff at all. I used to years and years ago, but I'm not a fan of Apple stuff. I don't really want to give them money. Everything, in my opinion, Apple is overpriced as shit. I think the one positive is that F1 TV doesn't go away completely for people in the United States. Now, I realize, like, you can't actually, you still have to have an Apple TV subscription. But a Samsung user. Oh, really? That's funny. I use Google Pixel, so I just use their flagships. I've been on the Google Pixel since, I don't know, brother. I mean, I had the original iPhone. I had the first, I think the last iPhone I had was an iPhone 3GS, I think is what it was. I had every iPhone from the start till then. And then I switched to Android. I actually had an I actually had an iPhone development website for a period of time, believe it or not. I sold it $20,000 for a forum way back in the day. Anyway, did that, and then I actually started doing Android development. So I ran my own business building Android apps for about 2 years. Didn't go that well, but it was a lot of fun. Learned a lot. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Android. Really have been since the early days. I think a Droid X was my first Android device, and that would have been in 2000 and... Please, brother.
Left side. Clear on the left.
You're literally going half the speed, and you're in the middle of the track. Like, fuck on off, man. Like, really, come on. I gotta go all the way around this goddamn track again. That's so frustrating. Like, if you don't know the racetrack and you're going that slow, just get in your own group. Get in your own group so you don't mess anybody else up who's actually trying to do some stuff. Had an iPhone, but I like the F1 TV app. I'll see if I got Google Pixels were a thing. Yeah, they're great. They're actually really good phones. I'm still on a Pixel 6. I have not upgraded. Every year I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get the new, I'm gonna get the 9, I'm gonna get the 10. Every year I'm just like, you know, that's fine. I don't really use apps anymore, to be honest with you. God, let me get out in front of him at least. He keeps crashing and resetting. Of course, I just scraped the damn wall.
No damage. Car looks clean.
Anywho, I forget what I paid for. Yeah, that's how I feel. Hell. I forget what I paid for F1 TV. I want to say I don't have the premium one. I don't have the like 4K version or anything. I just paid for the normal one. So I want to say it's like 80 some dollars a year, maybe. I have YouTube TV, so I have the ability to watch it through ESPN, but I just like the app. I like F1 TV. I like all the extra stuff that it has on it. I actually do watch that stuff. And to me, like 80 some dollars for, you know, basically everything F1 for a year, I feel like is very worthwhile. I've never had an issue paying for that. So basically, I think my cost doubles, I think to get an Apple TV subscription, my cost doubles. And that I'm not pleased about, obviously. I mean, there is a positive that we're at least going to get, presumably, we're going to get the premium version of F1 TV, so 4K HDR and all that. That's cool. But honestly, I saw it this year and I opted not to do it. So I don't know. I don't love that I'm being forced into, you know, paying for premium when I was fine with Pro, right? So that kind of sucks. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really have a choice. I watch all the F1 stuff, and I have no problem sailing the high seas, if you will. I'm a big fan of Plex. You guys, if you know, you know. So that doesn't bother me at all, but when it comes to something like F1 that's like every other week or whatever, I don't want to deal with that. It's too much pain. If it's a movie or a TV show, I got no problem going to the internet and figuring that out, you know? But when it's something that's literally weekly or every other week, like, I just don't want to do it. So I will certainly sucker up and kiss Tim Apple's ass and get myself some Apple TV. That will happen for sure. But I'm not super thrilled about it. At least I get 4K, I guess. I hope. I'm not sure about that part. I would assume it just, everybody gets premium. So we do still get to use F1 TV as the app. It's just you're going to log in with your Apple TV credentials. So yeah, you're going to end up paying more. You're basically going to end up paying double. If you've been paying for F1 TV Pro, which is like 80-ish, 87 I think dollars a year, you're basically going to be paying about double. If you were paying for F1 TV Premium, I believe it's slightly cheaper to just have an Apple TV subscription. So I guess a little positive for those folks, but I'm not in that group. Also, there's some type of community rating where you could rate other drivers like Uber drivers. I absolutely see that. Yeah, no. I mean, you know, I shouldn't be a little bitch about it, quite honestly. It's annoying because these laps are 8 minutes long, and yeah, I shouldn't be a bitch about it though. I don't mean to like name and shame the guy or anything. I'm going to play more Intercontinental GT World Challenge Indy. Yeah, it's only doing, I think it was quali today, or maybe it was saw practice on YouTube. I love that they put the GT World stuff's all on YouTube. That's always fantastic. Yeah, exactly. I love that they put all their stuff on YouTube. I mean, I know y'all know this already, I'll say it anyway. I have a NordVPN subscription. I think that's like $12 a month. I ended up doing a bundle thing where I paid like $40 for 4 years or something stupid. Anyway, I treat that as my endurance racing subscription, because effectively I log into Nord on my NVIDIA Shield, and then I just open up YouTube on the same situation, and then just watch the international broadcasts. I'm always in Canada during IMSA races, basically. I mean, honestly, it's fantastic. You get to watch the Daytona 24 with 0 commercials. Literally a 24-hour race for 24 hours straight. It's incredible. It's the way it should be. But don't worry, one day IMSA will get too popular and they'll have a exclusive contract, you know. I guess they already do. I guess that they already do. They got Peacock and NBC. Kind of forgot about that. This corner always gets me up here. I don't know how to efficiently get through it. I'm either like too slow through it, or like on the ragged edge all the way through there. I think I was a little too slow that time. Jesus. This beamer caught me as if I was standing still. Jeez. That's impressive. I didn't even know you were there, brother. All of a sudden I look up. He gone. Let off a little bit and let him go. I don't want to be affected by draft or anything. Apple F1 deal was basically inked when the F1 movie happened. There's definitely something there for sure. Definitely a relationship built. Haven't watched the F1 movie. I'm scared to. I feel like you're gonna hate it. I actually hated it when my wife and I went and saw it when it first came out over the summer, and I really didn't like it. I have since downloaded it to my local Plex server, and I've watched it again, and I appreciate it a lot more after watching it with a slightly less critical eye, if I'm being honest. The IMSA opening, like literally the first 10-15 minutes of the movie, incredible. Like, if they could capture the essence of that and make a movie about that, that would be awesome. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. But yeah, I love the opening. The opening was sick. It's the Daytona 24, and your boy jumps in to do a night stint and just absolutely crushes it. It was awesome. So it's just, you know, it's corny. It's all the things you would expect it, you know, an F1 movie to be made by Apple, right? I mean, the enthusiasm for Formula One from Apple can, in my opinion, effectively be summed up by the way Tim Cook waved the checkered flag a couple years ago in an F1 race. It was like the most pitiful thing you've ever seen in your life. And you're just sitting there thinking to yourself, could nobody show this man how to properly wave a checkered flag before he stood up in front of 100 million people live on television to watch this? Like, really? Come on, man. Yeah, watch him on Peacock. Yeah, I watch it on YouTube. I really, really prefer the international broadcast. They do such a good job. There's no bullshit fluff pieces or any of that. And granted, I haven't watched the NBC or the Peacock broadcasts in a couple of years now. Maybe I should, just to maybe give them a fair shake again, but It's pretty awesome to watch a full formula or a full, you know, endurance race with 0 commercials. Like literally 24 hours of Daytona, no commercials. Got enough drama in my life, don't need Brad Pitt to add more into it. As long as Apple doesn't force you to watch commercials like Peacock. Yeah, I'm really curious, like, so we know that, you know, F1 TV is staying around, but somebody in on the SCR Discord brought up a really good question, like, do we know that the F1 TV broadcast will still have the Sky option? Because that's what I watch. I always listen to Crofty and Brundle. Honestly, I don't think I would watch the broadcast that has the F1 TV people. I'm not a fan of theirs. I like Ted, you know, I like that crew, the Sky crew. So, like, I don't know, are they going to be around? Hard to say. No one waves a flag better than the indie guy. I don't know the indie guy. Is that the same dude? Okay. Ah. Great braking performance there, Chris. But yeah, I'm trying to reserve too much negativity for that announcement. Like, I think we all knew it was coming. It was literally a matter of time. And of course they announce, you know, they wait till the American race to do that announcement. I don't know why. I don't know why they do that, as if it's like a positive thing. But, yeah. I mean, I guess in some ways it's nice you don't have to have cable. You don't have to have ESPN, like, right, to watch that stuff anymore. Truth be told, you didn't have to. You could just get F1 TV and not worry about it. That's what Peter was talking about, Danica. It's like, he said, yeah, they need to bring back Danica Patrick. It's like, Peter, get out of here. They probably will. They probably will. I mean, I'm trying to think of who actually brought her in before. I don't think it was Sky, or I don't think it was F1 TV, it was Sky, wasn't it? I don't know. Maybe it was both. Man. I'm skeptical, of course, but just gonna have to wait and see. One of them series every other weekend year round, that would be really nice. I think about that with IMSA and WEC. It's hard. It's like, I get excited about them too, and you know, we all see the conversations online about, oh, the best racing, you know, is IMSA or WEC or whatever. And I don't disagree, really, but it's like it's hard to get too jazzed up about that when you're talking about a series that has like 8 races a year, you know? It's like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where to take that. I guess the fact that the number of races does not indicate how good the racing is, but it's just one of those things, like, the best racing could be an ARCA, you know? But if they race about 10 times a year and Cup Series races 32 or whatever they do, something crazy. Even if it is better racing, it'll never be the pinnacle just because it's just not enough of it. Oh, too wide. I should have stayed in 4th. Just let it go. I definitely prefer IMSA. Well, I shouldn't say that. I would say that I prefer IMSA over Formula 1. I do think the racing's better on kind of on average. But it's almost like it's impossible for it not to be. It's multi-class. There's a lot more action. The races are significantly longer on average. It's a spec, it's bopped. I mean, which we can have our own feelings about that, but personally I like the technology component to Formula 1. I like that it's not just a spec series. think I have a visitor. Hold, please. Who's there? What's up, girly? Alright. Thought it was ESPN started with the surge of 3 American GPs. Don't remember. Thought it was ESPN started it with a surge. I don't know what really got that going. I mean, them coming over to ESPN from NBC was a big deal, for sure. And then us just getting access to the Sky broadcast was massive. I don't know if you guys remember the NBC crew. They weren't bad or anything. Lee Diffie was the main guy, and then Steve Matchett and I forget the other guy's name. They did fine. I mean, frankly, those were the guys that introduced me to Formula One. Alright, what do we got?
59.947.
I beat my time by 8/10. Think about that. An 8-minute lap, I beat it by 8/10. My wife's texting me. I gotta see what's up. I really don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Best race in the world is Outlaws. Is World of Outlaws or High Limit Series. They race like 90 times a year. Yeah, but it's just, it's so tough. I mean, I don't, you know, what? When people say, when we say good racing, best racing, great racing, like what are we talking about, you know? Like what is that? I think I would have a hard time defining that. But for me, it's like, it's so many different things. It's not as simple as, you know. Oop, hold on. It's just not, it's not simple for me. I don't know how to really boil it down. Look at IMSA as being about the racing because there's 18 different series across a race weekend. F1's about automotive engineering. I think it's a mix of the two for sure. Okay. I think it's a mix. I don't look at Formula One and say it's predominantly about the car. I think Max is a great example of that. He's got teammates in the same car that can't drive the thing for shit, you know? I mean, obviously the car is important, but we're talking about the difference between there's a level of consistency to it though, right? Wow, what an apex. Good job. Like obviously McLaren has figured it out this season, but some of these guys, I mean, you're talking about a 10th or 2, you know, like, no, this was the one. There's just not enough in it to, it's not like back when Mercedes, you know, started off with the new generation and just absolutely dominated everything. That was fun. Y'all remember when that happened? But yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, there's just such a big mix. Because, I mean, hell, I could probably say, well, man, I go down to my local go-kart track on Saturday nights, and I feel like that's the best racing, you know. In many respects, maybe it is, you know. Because if racing just means overtakes, you know, competitiveness, anybody can win any given, you know, Sunday, day, whatever. If it's literally just that, and it's completely, you take out like the pyramid, you take out the levels, the pinnacle component of it, you take out the engineering, and you take out a lot of that stuff, and it's literally about overtakes, and it's about tight racing, competitive racing. It would honestly be pretty hard to argue that like NASCAR isn't the best racing out there because those cars are super tight. You know, now granted they have cautions that bring them together towards the end of the race, and some of the finishes are insane. Like the most exciting things you've ever seen, you know? Hard to argue that. But I certainly would not call NASCAR the best racing out there, not even close. Because I think about it in terms of like all of that stuff matters. I think the technical component really matters. I think the driver, you know, like the prestige of the drivers and the series that they're running in, I think that does matter. You know, that's why I would look at something like IMSA or WEC and say, because that series is higher and better in my eyes than ELMS or GT World or, you know, whatever, the Asian Le Mans series, like that adds to the mix. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's almost an impossible thing to answer. And there's IndyCar, of course. I'm not even talking about IndyCar. But as far as the pinnacle of motorsports, you know, it is in my eyes. There's no question it's Formula One. I think everybody wants to knock the king down when he's not, you know, at his best, and that's fine. But reality in my eyes is there's no competition. There's a reason why everybody wants to go to Formula One. And I can't, how many people that I see on Twitter talking about, who's the guy from IndyCar that just went to Formula One as like a test driver, reserve driver? Who is that? It's not Polo. The Colton Herta? Like, you know, phenomenal example, right? Like, they want a bite. It's Formula One. It's where you can make the most money. I mean, it's all that stuff matters. You know? They're not going because the series they're leaving's better. You know what I mean? Yeah, right. Colton Herta, like, God, if he's going, Jesus. That says something. That's right, going to F2, but with the goal of going to Formula One. My guess is he'll be an F2 guy, maybe as like a test or sim driver or something for Cadillac, right? So yeah, I mean, I think all that stuff plays a big part of it. Yeah, Porsche Cup's actually extremely fun to watch. If you've never seen those races on YouTube, man, those things are awesome. Nodwell talks about the MX5 races support series for IMSA all the time. Those races are insane, and they're super fun, super tight, super close racing. But you know, it's not the pinnacle. It's, you know, I still think there's just nothing like a great F1 race. You know, I can think back to some races that were just unbelievable, like a couple that we've had in the last 5 years or so, or 6 years. I think in 2019, Max Verstappen at Interlagos. Like, Brazil's had some phenomenal races the last couple of years. So yeah, there's just, in my eyes, there's really nothing like a great F1 race. It's digestible. It's really hard to watch and really absorb an IMSA race. Even the sprint races, you know, they're short, so they're similar in length to an F1 race. They're still longer. I think they're like 240, something like that, right? But the team nature of it, you know, I think most people couldn't name, I don't know, more than even like actual fans, motorsports fans. Half of the people in here, you know, we probably couldn't name more than like a dozen guys that race in IMSA. We probably couldn't name more than a dozen. You know, so it's hard to follow, you know, from that point of view. I think in that respect, more people are fans of teams or really manufacturers more than they are of drivers. And so it's difficult to follow. A lot of times you're watching like the Daytona 24 and it's like, I'm watching the number 6 Penske GTP because I like Kevin Estre is my favorite sports car driver in the world, but I don't know if I'm not sure if he's in the car. You don't even, you know, sometimes it's hard to even know who's in the car. So stuff like that is tough. Yes, I would actually love to hear somebody name them. No Google searches. Don't bullshit me now. Heard some F1 personalities speak very highly of Indy. Absolutely, for sure. For sure. I mean, you guys know, I used to, not that we did a ton of it, but did some sim racing with an ex IndyCar driver, right? With the old team that I was in. And I mean, he's a great follow on Twitter because he's currently an agent for IndyCar drivers. And I've seen him say it. I think he's even said it on Twitter, but certainly I've heard him say, like, F1's F1. I mean, you know, like, it's where people want to be. IMSA WEC 24 Hours is really inspire. I personally love watching them. I think what was it? Just Road Atlanta. The top 2 cars. I think it was GTP. The top 2 or 3 cars were just right there within a few seconds of one another after 10 hours, which was insane. Super cool. I feel like he's leaving Indy because he wants to be respected as a great driver. In order to do that, you have to go to F1. I think it's probably some of that. It's probably just money. I mean, literally just getting into F1. I mean, the doors open. There's 22 seats in the world that are Formula One drivers, right? Like, that's a big deal. And not to say he's going to get paid super well necessarily from the team, but just you're one of 22 on the planet. Just the opportunities that come from a promotional point of view, sponsorships and all these sorts of things. You know, one of 22 in the best series in the world, that means something for sure. Heard of one Sebring last year in LMP2 and barely moved the needle for him. That's funny. I didn't even know he ran Sebring in the LMP2. I always kind of get surprised. There's always a guy in there that I don't even think about. Like, was it Scott Dixon is always running IMSA races, especially the big races. There's a couple IndyCar guys that come over and do them a lot. And then of course, old or ex Formula One guys like Grosjean and dudes like that. Was it Italian Jesus? What's that guy's name? Old Ferrari driver. Maybe I don't think he ever made it to Ferrari, but I guess he's in Ferrari now in WEC. But Antonio Giovinazzi, him. I mean, there's a bunch of guys that used to race Formula One that race in WEC or IMSA now. That is huge connection. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, true. Names help, man. Names, connections mean a lot. 25 season was terrible for Colton. It was mostly some mistakes, pit stops. Yeah. Connor Zilich won Daytona 24. Did he really? Holy shit, I didn't know that. It's like you don't even necessarily know. Some years I know which car won the race, but I don't know who was driving it. Unless it's a team that I just happen to know. But yeah, and especially if like you're not, like, I prefer the GT3s, you know, so if you go and watch the Daytona 24, most of the action centered around the GTPs, not the GT3s. So even that can be challenging. They've gotten better, I think, in recent years now that like the hype of the GTP class has died down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the fact that there's 3 series, like LMP2 gets no play, right? If you happen to love, what's the dude, Ben Keating, right? Who's always driving an LMP2. If you're a big fan of his, like you're pretty much never going to see him because they're focused on GTPs. They'll throw some GT3s in there, and every once in a while they'll show an LMP2. And that's in a 24-hour race, you know. So I really like watching the Nurburgring 24 for that reason. GT3s are kind of the show there. Obviously the same in Bathurst. Bathurst is a great watch. It's only 12 hours, but it's something you can sit down and enjoy. It's not necessarily a 24-hour race. Connor's on a new level. Yeah, and is he going to Cup next year? He must, right? Like, isn't he still driving an Xfinity? Or whatever they call it now. I think what also sets Upfoot apart is this cars can perform in ways no other cars in the world can. I feel like this speaks so important in automotive engineering. Yeah, that's true. It's definitely true. And I think, I mean, the GTPs and hypercars are close, you know. If you think back to like the Porsche 919 days, like that car I believe still has the fastest lap time around this track right here, in fact. Now, I don't know that they've ever really set a Formula One car around this place untethered, but not a recent Formula One car. I don't know, but I doubt it. That would be insane. I'd love to see that. But it's not, it's not built for stuff like this. I don't know that it would. I don't know how it would do. Actually, I'd kind of love to see it. No one wants to see what everyone else is capable of. They want to see what only few can do. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, something to be said for like the fact that the old CEO of GitHub, which is like a tech nerd, right? Literally ran in the Daytona 24 this past year, which is crazy. That's crazy to say out loud. You can literally, with enough money, if you guys donated like millions of dollars to me, we'll set up a GoFundMe, okay? I'm going to run in the 2026 Daytona 24, but I need you guys to front it. Like, seriously, you could literally get enough money and just buy a seat, and you could literally just go do the thing. And I'm sure there's some kind of, I mean, you have to have a racing license. Like, you can't just literally show up the next day and do that, but like, you basically can. You just need to put in a little bit of legwork in advance, you know? Which, that's crazy. I think that the fact that that's real is insane. And yeah, we could also point to like Daddy Stroll, right? So Lance certainly got a seat bought for him, but he had to get a super license. He had to go through that process. Like, that's a much more involved process than getting a racing license to race in the Daytona 24. Like, he raced for years and all sorts of different series, still all funded and all those things true, but he put that time in at a minimum. So Porsche the King, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much, man. I mean, their heritage in motorsports is probably second to none. I don't know. I don't know that they have a history in Formula One ever, but pretty much in everything else. I mean, any other sports car racing, Porsche is definitely up there, brother. If only I came from money. Amen. Wouldn't that be nice? It would make things so much easier. F1 doesn't want bigger fields. Yeah, no doubt. I wouldn't say they only survive. It's just like the only reason they don't want to get bigger. So Formula One used to be much more open. If you go watch a race from the 80s, for instance, way more cars were in the race. Now, 10 of them didn't finish, right? Because they had technical issues and all sorts of things. Like, people would literally just cobble a car together to make it to the race, to start it, maybe. And sometimes they couldn't even do that. And, you know, just try to get there to like be part of the thing. That's changed in, you know, recent memory. It's not like that anymore. But these days, it's about splitting the purse. I mean, it's really not, I mean, it's motorsports, but it's not just for the love of racing, right? It's a massive, massive business. Like, the exclusivity component is literally just sharing the pot of money. And I 100% agree with them. Like, if I was one of the teams, and I should be told, I think most people would probably say the same thing if, you know, they were held to the fire. If you were one of the 10 teams and I don't know what the number is. Let's just say you're splitting $10 billion, or what, it's not that much maybe, but $1 billion a year between 10 teams. It's probably actually a lot more than $1 billion, but whatever. $1 billion between 10 teams, and you all get an equal share, you know, of $100 million. And then somebody comes in and all of a sudden your pot gets split, the same pot. Cadillac does not grow the sport, right? Now maybe they will eventually and all the things, but like the next year, it's still basically $1 billion pot, and now it's split 11 ways. Your cut went down because somebody else joined the field. Nobody says yes to that. You know, so that's why they want, like, you heard this a lot when the team principals of the existing teams were talking about. It's like, well, they need to bring something to the table to increase the value of the sport in such a way that the pot that we're pulling from is $1.2 billion as opposed to $1. So now all of a sudden we're making whatever that is, you know, $110 million each or whatever. So that's really, I think it's honestly that simple. I don't think they have any issue like competing or, you know, whatever. I don't think that's really a problem at all. All those teams know, like, Cadillac's not going to just come in and start dominating. Like, that's certainly not going to happen. They just don't want them to take their money. You know, that's literally it. That's where I think the business side cuts into it. Clean being the title holder's best racing. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I agree with that statement. Wade. Cadillacs paid more. Yeah, they had to, right? Like, the value of Formula One has never been higher than it is today. It just hasn't. It's bigger. It is worth more than it ever has been in the history of the sport ever. So yeah, they had to. And that's why everybody wants to get in. Like, where was Cadillac in 2015? They weren't trying to get into Formula One. Back then, we had Caterham. We had there were a couple more teams on the grid. I don't remember all of them. One start with an M. Was it Marussia? There was a couple other teams that died out or got bought and, you know, turned into different things. So it's like Cadillac wasn't trying to get in back then. You know, it's who else has been talking about trying to get in? Is it Toyota or somebody else is also trying to be that now the 12th team, right? Like, where were they when the value of Formula One was half what it is today? Like, they didn't want to get in. They could have done it back then, but they didn't. Yeah. So, you know, it's at the end of the day, man, it's as most things are, it's about money. It's about money. Yeah, they want to compete. Yeah, the guys that drive the cars and the men and women who create the mechanical designs and all the things and build the vehicles, like, yeah, they're competitive and they want all the things, right? And I'm sure the people that own the team want to be successful on the racetrack, not just because, you know, the value goes up, but because that's fun and that's also part of it. But at the end of the day, you know, the people that own the teams, they want to make money. They're investments. Those teams are generally backed by private equity or, you know, big holding companies, or actually they talk about some of that in the Formula One movie, right? Like takeovers and all this stuff by bigger PE and holding firms. Like, those people, they want to make money. That's literally the only reason they do what they do, make money. Yeah, largest marketing exposure in sporting. I mean, here's a stat that'll blow your mind. And I love it. Do you guys know, like, literally, throw some numbers out. Please don't Google this or it ruins the whole fun. Give me a couple guesses on an average Formula One race weekend. How many people watch the race? Just throw a couple numbers out. How many people watch an average? And I'm not talking about, I know the number for 2021, the last race. That was obviously insane. But on an average race weekend, how many people across the globe watch a Formula One race? I'll give you guys a second to get some guesses and then I'll tell you. Not just video game junkies. We're here waxing philosophical and shit. True. Yeah, talking about largest marketing exposure. I want to hear a couple numbers. Give me some guesses, guys. There was once a Yamaha team. Yeah. I mean, God, man. I mean, back, you can go so far as to like the 70s. I mean, a lot of those teams were literally like a dude who owned the team, right? I mean, Williams Racing was literally, that was his thing, you know? And obviously it turned from a guy with a dream who cobbled things together to go racing every weekend into what it has become. But it's not what it was when he started it back in the 60s or whatever year that was. All right, so hold on. So on average, and this is bananas, on average, it's like 80 to 90 million people watch every Formula, and this is every one. Like, so every other week, basically, over the course of a year, if you spread it out for 12 months, basically every other week, 80 to 90 million people watch a Formula One race, which is nuts. Now, your average Super Bowl, just for context, your average Super Bowl is watched by about 120 million people. So think about that. Like, they're not putting on a Super Bowl every 2 weeks, but they're not that far off either, right? Like, think of that. That's insane. Like in the United States, we talk about, I mean, the Super Bowl, if you go back and look at the the Nielsen ratings for how many, people watch whatever show. If you go back and look at that, I think like 9 of the top 10 in the history of, when those numbers have been getting put together, I'm pretty sure it's 9 of the top 10 are Super Bowls. Just for context. I'll try to bring it up. Google said 70. Let's see. Nielsen. Let's just say top 10 U.S. shows in history. Here we go. Make sure I'm not showing off anything too private, y'all. All right, can y'all see that? Oh, yes, you can. I just sorry for the bomb. Chat GPT says 79 to 80 mil. Yeah, okay, so there you go. I was close. I knew it was somewhere in that 80 to 90 million range. So like, look at this, just average viewership. Okay, I was wrong, actually. It's 10 of 10. They're all Super Bowls. Yeah, so the most watched, this is US viewership. 127 million for one Super Bowl. MASH, the farewell episode, was 100 million people, which in 1983, there weren't a whole lot of things to watch on television. Just by the way. So they're pretty much all Super Bowls. So of the top 20, so 19 of the top 20 were Super Bowls. And if you exclude Super Bowls, it's stuff you would think. But like, just think about this, right? So like in the top 10, the Seinfeld finale, Olympics, Cheers finale, Dallas finale, the MASH finale. Your average Formula One race is hanging out in here in the top 7 to 10, every single week or every other week. It's crazy. The numbers that they do worldwide. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. And I think the number for the Abu Dhabi 2021, how many people watched the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix? It was like 100 and something. It was a big number. 109 million people globally watched that race. And I'm pretty sure that was the highest number ever. Most watched race of that season. I'm guessing it was probably the highest rated, highest watched ever. Formula One viewership by year. I don't want you to know my location. Leave me alone. That's not really what I'm looking for there. It's just nuts. 2021 season, 70 million. It's gone up since then. Average F1 viewership worldwide. Per race, worldwide. Here, just show me the stuff I've already seen. I want to see 2024 numbers at least. I don't want to see the US. I know it's low. I don't care about that. All the, whatever. I'm not going to go too far for that, but anywho. Were those 80s TV shows American viewers compared to global? That's just American viewers. Yeah, which is crazy. Think of that. I forget the number for MASH, but it was, it was 100 million people, right? 100 million people in the United States all sat down and watched MASH. If you ever like ask a parent or somebody that was, an adult at the time when say like the last episode of MASH was on, or I think you can actually pretty easily find videos of like downtown Manhattan during the final episode of Seinfeld, because it was like in 96 or something. And it's like a ghost town. It's like an absolute, like there's nobody on the street. Like literally everybody's at home watching the last episode of Seinfeld. That's stuff like that blows my mind. Not to knock the point, but like we mentioned earlier, entertainment is much more accessible now. Pull your phone out and watch within seconds. Yeah, for sure. Much more captive audience in the 80s, right? Like how many channels were available in the 80s versus today? Versus, I mean, not even just channels today, but I mean just mediums. Like I can watch it on YouTube tomorrow or whatever. That didn't exist. Well, is the difference between a global sport and a local stuff? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the Super Bowl is a global event, right? Like a really good comparison is the World Cup, which I believe, and y'all, I'm not going to Google it. Y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw a stat recently where the World Cup, the most recent World Cup final was watched by 1 billion people live, which is insane. Like literally 1/7 of the world, like in total, watched it live. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, the original conversation started with, you know, viewership of things like WEC, IMSA, just motorsports, you know. So comparing Formula One to IMSA, WEC, I mean, I think that's a fair comparison in terms of worldwide reach versus U.S. audience. We're not comparing, say, you know, Formula One viewership globally to NASCAR viewership in the United States. Like that's not even. It's funny, but it's not fair. Yeah, I think a NASCAR, there's somewhere in the neighborhood of like, I don't know, 3 to 5 million maybe, depending on the race. But that's, you know, US only. It's just not gonna be anywhere close. Just watching a recap on YouTube count towards that. I don't know how they get the Nielsen stuff anymore. Back in the day, you used to actually have a device. I don't know how they do it these days. I'm guessing, I mean, basically every service you have tracks everything you do. So I'm guessing that's how they get their data these days. But for DVR and on demand, you had to watch it live. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we had videotape, like VHS and stuff in the 80s. But generally, I would think with something like a MASH or nobody wants to tape that. Like that's such an event, you know? It's like when, I mean, maybe it's a tough example, but y'all are going to kill me for this one, but that's okay. Like the final episode of Game of Thrones. I was not going to watch that on Monday. You know, like no matter what I was going to do, I was going to watch that episode live for sure. Final match, Argentina, France 2022, 1.5 billion people. Jesus. That's crazy. I don't know how they come up. I don't know where they really get those numbers from. But yeah, that's actually insane. And where are we at? Somewhere in like the 7 billion people range right now. Has it gone up? Has it gotten to 8? That's terrifying. How many humans on Earth right now? Holy shit, 8.2. Wow, we did cross the 8. Total population reaching 8 billion in late 2022. Projections estimate we could reach 9 by 2037. That's terrifying. Yeah, 8.2 billion. Whew. I remember when it was like 6, or maybe it was 5 when I was a kid. 5 or 6. And now we're at 8. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. All right, boys, I got to go. It's 11 o'clock. I have to wake up at 7 a.m. to take my son to baseball practice. As much as I hate to run. ChatGPT, Wikipedia. Gotta love them. Thought it was 9. Imagine the infrastructure required to broadcast a live event. Yeah, that is unfathomable to this guy. I'm too dumb for stuff like that. I think, look, I've run literally one hot lap in 2 different cars. I think we're going with the Porsche tomorrow night. Feels reasonable, right? Think about the parties. Exactly. That's a great point. Go to B-dubs. Do you think maybe they just assume like, hey, if it's coming from B, I don't know if they have this information. If it's come from B-dubs, there's probably 100 people watching instead. You know? What the fuck? What? You need to go to sleep, son. Jesus. All I got to do is get up and drive my son 30 minutes across town for baseball practice. Good grief. I might die if I was in your situation. But anyway, for real, I got to go to sleep or I'll be completely wrecked. You're talking to a guy that normally wakes up around like 9 a.m. You know what I'm saying? On a random weekday. So to wake up at 7 on a Saturday, I'm not thrilled at all. But anyway, yeah, definitely got to be some assumptions. Y'all, I appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate you coming by as always for the millionth time. I'm going to say it every single time because I truly believe it and I mean it. I appreciate every one of y'all for being here. If you're new, you know, subscribe. I'll be live tomorrow night. I'm going to try to solo this place 4 hours at the ring. I don't know that I'm going to make it for 4 hours. We're going to give it a shot. As I've said, the goal is literally safety rating. Your boy needs to bump up the safety rating. We're making a deposit. We're gonna put a deposit in that safety rating bucket, and then we're gonna withdraw that some gun for the next couple weeks. Okay. So tomorrow night we're going for deposits. Gonna earn some credits, get a little currency for withdrawals in the future weeks. So with that, appreciate you being here. Until next time, peace.